candidatamos aos bairros digitais, porque para nós é fundamental. Sabemos que temos aqui uma situação que precisamos da ajuda de todos, do Governo Regional e do Governo da República, para ultrapassar, que tem a ver com as transferências de Estado, e falo neste não em tom de crítica, mas de uma realidade que é reconhecida por todos, que o município do Porto Santo precisa de mais apoio para combater esta dupla insularidade e outras situações que existem, mas também é fundamental que encontremos o nosso caminho, que nos candidatemos àquilo que são as oportunidades que se nos abrem, e esta foi uma delas. E passo para a Sra. Secretária lhe dizer que aproveito este momento, Sra. Secretária, que tenho dito isto bastantes vezes, mas faço-lhe questão de dizer em público, para lhe agradecer, não só pelos últimos 12 meses, mas por tudo o que fez mesmo antes desses 12 meses. Sei que, e costumo dizer, que o Porto Santo é um refúgio de sentimentos, e sei que o sentimento que nutre pelo Porto Santo é muito grande e permite-nos hoje estarmos aqui e sobre a questão da biosfera, sobre a questão do life dinners e sobre muitas outras em que servimos de exemplo, e que ainda ontem se debatia a questão de mecanismos territoriais na Madeira e que, em primeiro lugar, foram feitos no Porto Santo. E isso é, sem dúvida nenhuma, olhar para uma oportunidade, perceber que este território contém oportunidades que às vezes podem servir de experimentação para toda a nossa região, mas saber que sem aquilo que é o sentimento que aplicamos naquilo que fazemos, tenho a certeza que não seria da mesma forma, e por isso agradeço. I will say some words. Senhora Embaixadora, também, peço desculpa, é um enorme prazer recebê-la aqui no Porto Santo. Também agradecer na sua pessoa a todas as entidades que estão aqui presentes, o nos apoiarem, o nos darem a oportunidade de, mesmo no momento em que entramos para a Reserva da Biosfera, darem a oportunidade de, mesmo assim, conseguirmos levar a cabo o nosso plano de ação com uma equipa da Câmara que temos tentado, acima de tudo, que esteja preparada e que cresça com todos, com a experiência daqueles que todos que aqui estão podem nos dar para acrescentar naquilo que é a valorização da nossa pequena ilha. E também uma palavra à engenheira Rebena, que está aqui desde o início, à senhora vereadora do Ambiente, que mesmo vindo da área da saúde abraçou este projeto também com grande intensidade, e não poderia deixar de falar da responsabilidade e da confiança transmitida da senhora Secretária para que a gestão da biosfera ficasse no município, e é com grande orgulho que deleguei essas responsabilidades, não só na senhora vereadora, mas na gestora, na professora Licínia Soares, que tenho a certeza, como foi para mim um dia, será para vocês durante este tempo uma agradável surpresa. Some word in English to welcome all of you to Porto Santo, to tell you thanks for your investment here, for our collaboration helping us to create the sustainability that we need. A territory like Porto Santo needs classifications like the biosphere classifications and all the help. I speak a little bit for our secretary, asking him to be attempt, like I know, but to help us delivering the legacy that we received from the 600 years before when the Portuguese discovered Porto Santo. Our pass-through by here of valorization of the biosphere is, and for me the importance of the biosphere is the capacity in just one classification we can see all the remarks, all the Porto Santo work before of us. I normally say that the classification of biosphere, it was a recognize of the work that all that become before us achieved, and it is a responsibility because we have to receive the legacy, work it, make our better to give this legacy to the coming generations with the responsibility of improvement and save save all this patrimony. Saying that, we know that in people are the most important things to make changes, but we need, of course, economic help. I thank you very much for all the disponibility you have helping us not so with the budget, but so with the capacity of the evolution of our staff here too. Hope you have a nice day. Hope that all of you take a little bit in your heart of Porto Santo, and someday come and use this, not the right word, sorry, but take the most of Porto Santo with your families, because you are a space for families. And normally we say the goal we have is that the persons that come here once come a lot of times more. Thank you very much. Enjoy the day.
Now we call the Secretary General for the Environment and Operative of the Environment Program, Alexandra Carvalho.
Muito bom dia. Antes de mais, Sr. Presidente da Câmara, agradecer, é o nosso anfitrião hoje, agradecer tão bem que nos recebeu. Já nos sentimos em casa completamente. Devo dizer, e contra mim falo, que é a minha primeira vez no Porto Santo, mas tenho a certeza, e acabei de chegar há 2 horas, que vou voltar. E vou voltar mesmo com a minha família. Vou voltar para ficar vários dias. É um sítio maravilhoso, é de facto uma pérola que aqui temos. E para nós, hoje, assinar esta adenda ao protocolo, e incluir a 12ª reserva da biosfera no nosso projeto, é uma honra enorme aqui estar. Muito obrigada a si e à sua equipa, que têm feito um trabalho extraordinário. Senhora Secretária Regional, muito obrigada também por nos receber aqui hoje. Cumprimento também o nosso Secretário de Estado do Planeamento, cumprimento a Senhora Embaixadora, a Doutora Susana Ramos, todos os colegas que aqui nos acompanham. Dizer que da parte da Secretaria-Geral, que é a operadora dos e-grants do Programa Ambiente, estes 2 projetos que hoje vimos visitar no Porto Santo são projetos que são tão importantes como todos os outros, mas são projetos que nos marcaram muito pela positiva. Correram muito bem, quer o Porto Santo sem lixo, quer agora este que está ainda a correr. O Porto Santo sem lixo está fechado praticamente, faltam ainda alguns pagamentos, mas está fechado. Foi um projeto que correu muito bem, com muita dedicação da equipa e de facto com a equipa da Câmara, com as entidades parceiras, que aproveito também para saudar, e de facto não poderia ter corrido melhor. A Reserva da Biosfera é um projeto ongoing, é um projeto que vai ficar, é um projeto que vai deixar a sua marca sem dúvida. Elaborar um plano de sustentabilidade para uma Reserva da Biosfera é uma grande tarefa, é uma tarefa de muita responsabilidade e é uma marca para o futuro. Portanto, muito obrigada por nos receber aqui. Nós é que estamos gratos, não têm que nos agradecer, porque nós é que estamos gratos por fazer parte também de Porto Santo. Muito obrigada.
Now we call the Coordinator of the National Focal Point, National Management Unit of EEA Grants Portugal, Susana Ramos.
Good morning. First of all, I would like to greet our Secretary of State for Planning, Mr. Eduardo Pinheiro, a special word to the Regional Secretary for Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, Mrs. Susana Prada, to the Mayor of Porto Santo, Mr. Bruno Batista. Thank you very much for your support and for hosting us here, of course. Thank you. But also to the Ambassador of Norway in Portugal, Mrs. Tove Rubik Westberg. It is a pleasure to work very closely with you. But also to our colleague, Peter Waldorf, representing Iceland. Hi, Peter. But also Mrs. Fragoso de Almeida, Luisa Fragoso Almeida, from the Ministry for Foreign Affairs. Sincere congratulations to the Environment Program for the organization of today's events here in Porto Santo. Alexandra Carvalho, Susana Escária, Pedro Gomes, Eleonor Costa, thank you. I also welcome the FMO representatives, the project promoters, and our colleagues from the Blue Growth Program, the Culture Program, the Work-Life Balance Program, and the Active Citizens Fund. Today, we celebrate a special day, a day dedicated to Porto Santo, to the autonomous region of Madeira, but also to Portugal and to the importance of EEA grants over the years. The way is made by walking along with. This year, allow me to add this input to the event. We celebrate 30 years of walking. It was in 1992, 30 years ago, that the European Economic Area Agreement was signed, and which allowed the creation of this financial mechanism called EEA grants, which has supported Portugal since then. And so today, here and now, we also celebrate an important milestone that gave origin to the EEA grants, and has allowed Portugal and the Portuguese to directly benefit from this funding. Yesterday, we had the opportunity to see 2 projects financed in Madeira, in Madeira Island, related to the Blue Growth Program and to the Culture Program. And today, we will dedicate our day to the Environment Program. The support that the Madeira region has in the current financial mechanism is around 900,000 euros without reference to the national contribution or to the projects with a national scope, as the one we will point out today related to biosphere reserves. We know that funding in the different areas has had long-lasting results and that they had and have an undeniable positive impact on people's lives. But let me today highlight our commitment to the environment and the synergies with the sea, which are areas that are crucial when we talk about EEA grants. As I said at the beginning of my speech, the way is made by walking along with, and that is what we continue to do. And we talk about innovation, development, and research. We sincerely believe that the journey of bilateral cooperation with donor countries and for the reduction of economic and social disparities must take this form. But we also believe that areas such as environment, blue growth, culture, work-life balance, and gender equality are built up through the education and awareness raising of the youngest. Those will be the future citizens and will contribute to an active and participative citizenship. There is a very known quote that says, "It takes a village to educate a child," and we will see this guidance through the projects that will present to us today. We at EEA Grants consider essential this approach to the local communities, education communities, and children. Sincere congratulations to the project promoter who are here today on this mission to work for a better tomorrow for our children and for our society. Thank you all, and especially for those who work on a daily basis to make the difference. Thank you very much.
Now we call the technical advisor of the Municipality of Porto Santo for a presentation of the Porto Santo Sem Lixo Marinho project, Rubina Brito.
Good morning to you all. Welcome to Porto Santo, my paradise, and I hope your paradise too someday. I will tell you about Porto Santo without marine waste. This project I had the pleasure of working on, and it was a great learning process for me. It was an honor to work with this project. Let me see if I can record this. Now on the Porto Santo without marine waste was promoted by ANP, Portuguese Nature Association, and it has more partners. The ID Global, an NGO for the development. I have Sofia Lopes here with the same t-shirt. Thank you. We also had ARM, sorry, Water and Waste Management from Madeira, RDT, Regional Agency for the Development of Research, Technology and Innovation, and we were supported by WWF and the Regional Secretary of the Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change. Thank you very much. So the project lasted 18 months, running from September 1st to 2020 until May this year. We had around 260,000 euros with total financement, and the grants supported with 194,000 euros. So, what have we proposed to do with the project? In general ways, we identify the flow and discharge of plastic waste and optimize its management. And we propose to radically reduce the volume of used disposal plastic through a communication campaign that was targeted at all interest parties. And why Porto Santo? Because Porto Santo is a biosphere reserve with the objective of developing a differentiated and pioneering territory in the scope of sustainability. So we had the same goals. Because we have a difficult waste management with a resident population of just over 5,000 inhabitants. It is an island with a very high tourist occupation, mainly in the high summer period. And we had the adequate scale for the development of innovative pilot projects, as the mayor earlier said. And what have we done? We identify and monitored the waste flow and discharge. We made a web application to identify critical sites of plastic pollution. It's called Beach Litter Reporter. We did a voluntary plastic bottle return system with reward for users has been created. We will have the opportunity to visit today later. We did the community management plan for 5 years for marine waste prevention and awareness raising was developed. So we identified the stakeholders, we did a survey to the stakeholders, we mapped, we did workshops, and all of these expectations of all the local actors was inputted in the community management plan. We also create a seal for those entities that signed the letter of commitment to engage in the community management plan. We had 36 establishments accepted to take this commitment. It's a good number for us, believe me. We also the Friends of the Sea initiative, that is a municipality of Porto Santo initiative for the collection of waste marine, was strengthened and expanded. We meet the local fishermen, tour operators and entrepreneurs with businesses on the coast to collect and identify plastic waste in the sea and dunes. And I will talk a little bit about I will destack some actions. The community management plan. The community management is intended to be a simple and guiding document that seeks to create commitments for the reduction of marine litter generated in the island of Porto Santo. The contents of this plan are, in a sense, created by the community through a participatory process, as I mentioned earlier. And the municipality of the Porto Santo, the municipality of Porto Santo signed a letter of commitment, a letter that was approved by the municipal assembly, and what is our responsibility, even when the project is finished, is to improve communication between entities that carry out beach cleaning actions and compile results. It's to reinforce intersectoral action in the collection of marine waste in Porto Santo in areas of difficult access. We have the responsibility to create a regulation of good environmental practices for events in the municipality of Porto Santo. It was approved on 25 February of this year. This regulation creates standards for the adoption of good environmental practices at events that occur in Porto Santo in terms of waste management, energy, life cycle of materials, etc. Also promote the involvement, volunteering of the local community in actions to clean coastal areas and or accumulated potential marine litter. In November we will celebrate the Week of the Sea. So we are planning a week with campaigns, cleaning campaigns in the beach, underwater campaigns, to improve the literacy about the sea with the children also. So we have several entities with us, like public entities, the general community. It will be a big week. And we also must ensure that the plan is monitored and the Porto Santo without marine waste seal also monitored. How are we going to monitor the plan? So the certification seal, I thought some of you saw it in the Hotel Vila Madeira, okay? Is for entities that signed the letter of commitment. So they were delivered to the committed restaurants, hotels and shops to adopting good practices and meeting a set of targets in terms of reducing potential marine waste. So they sign a commitment letter where there's some mandatory and optional measures. I have here some examples: mandatory visible recycle bins and 100% separation of glass, plastic, metal and paper. Make tap water available for consumption. And an example of an optional measure: collaborate in the marine litter cleaning campaigns once a year. These are some of the establishments that join us. There's Vera, down the second, the lady you saw downstairs doing some handcraft. And to ensure the monitoring of the Porto Santo without marine waste, this year we have reached 32 of the 37 establishments. How do we do it? We as a partner of the Eco Schools program, which reaches all schools in the Porto Santo, and we made a synergy with the schools in order to create monitoring brigades. It's the students that are going to the establishments to see if they are doing everything as supposed to. These are some photos of the students visitor. Also, we did, during the project, we did some cleaning campaigns. We continued this work because we have the Friends of the Sea project that gained a lot with this Porto Santo without marine waste. So during the project we did 19 cleaning campaigns with 500 volunteers. We collected 3,000 and about 3,000 kilos of waste and 1,400 were plastic. More photos of the cleaning campaigns. Then this is the PET packaging collection machine that you will see today. Between April and September this year, we collected about almost 6,000 PET in the machine. We gave 1,080 discount vouchers in the value of 250 euros. This is from the AID Global site. This is telling about this packaging collection machine. This was the first non-reusable plastic packaging collection machine that is fully financed by commercial establishments. Was inaugurated in April and brings with it a reward system that aims to encourage the local community to recycle. And now I will leave you with a video that was used in the media, in the schools, in our campaigns. The characters that you will see in this video are named by the discoverers of Porto Santo, João and Tristão, João da Salvajar, Tristão Vaz Teixeira. Eu. Sorry. That's all. Thank you.
Marine Biology and Technical Scientific Coordinator of the project Biosphere Reserve, Sustainable Territories, Resilient Communities, António Domingos Abreu, and the manager of the Porto Santo Island Biosphere Reserve, Virginia Soares.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a great honor that we thank you for coming to our small bold island, but with very peculiar characteristics and a rich natural and cultural heritage. My name is Virginia Soares. Since the beginning of September, I am responsible for the management of the Biosphere Reserve. I apologize for not speaking English properly, but I will do my best. I hope that with this presentation you'll get to know a little more about Porto Santo, as well as the reason of achieving the classification of a Biosphere Reserve. All the images you will see are from Porto Santo. I hope you enjoy it. Porto Santo is the smallest inhabited island of the Madeira archipelago. It belongs to Portugal and is located in the extreme southwest of Europe, in the Atlantic Ocean. It is on one of the 11 counties of Madeira. It was only one municipality. According to Census 2021, its population was 5,158 inhabitants. Regarding its geological formation, Porto Santo was the first island to form as it was pushed to the surface of the ocean by a violent submarine volcanic eruption during the Miocene period. The last eruptions occurred more than 10 million years ago. The landscape distinguished itself from the others in Madeira, but confluence with its geological heritage: magmatic, carbonate, and biogenic rocks, less glaciation. Porto Santo Island has 600 years of history. The island was discovered in 1418 by the Portuguese navigator João Gonçalves Arco and Cristão Vaz Teixeira. It was here that maritime expansion began, enabling the Portuguese to discover new lands and reaches for the kingdom, advances in nautical science, cartography, and astronomy. It was from here, in 1492, that Cristóvão Columbus planned his trip that led him to the Antilles in America. Porto Santo has very peculiar characteristics, with emphasis on the immensity of its beach of fine, golden sand and rare therapeutic properties, stretching over the 9 kilometers, being nicknamed Golden Island, Ilha Dourada. It is one of the 7 wonders of Portugal. This year, Porto Santo's beach was considered the best beach in Europe, winning the first place. Also, it was elected one of the best beaches of the world, out of 50 beaches nominated, having obtained the 50th place. Portugal has 12 biosphere reserves. Porto Santo Island, having been classified as a biosphere reserve by UNESCO, is a great source of pride for all the people of Porto Santo. Porto Santo Island was the last to join the national network of biosphere reserves on October 28, 2020. Porto Santo Island Biosphere Reserve. It extends to the total land area of 42 square kilometers and 6 surrounding islets, with the highest point located at Pico do Facho, 570 meters, which adds at the surrounding marine area up to a bathymetric of 100 meters. It is a legacy of biological and geological diversity, well-preserved ecosystems and species of remarkable interest, counting 2,113 taxa, 1,660 terrestrial, and 453 marine. Its vision is to recognize Porto Santo as a differentiated and pioneering territory in the scope of sustainability and adaptation to climate change, common to a concerted strategy of harmonization between local development and respect for nature conservation and valorization of its heritage and its people. Its mission promotes the production and exchange of scientific, technological, and traditional knowledge involving the scientific community, policymakers, and citizen groups, promote adaptation to climate change, and give visibility to Porto Santo as a living laboratory and a demonstrative model of balance between nature conservation and human activities, through networking and sharing among the different agents focusing on local development. The area has the adequate dimension because it takes into account the archipelago state, the unique geomorphological characteristics of the territory, and the elevated number of endemisms of Porto Santo, Madeira, and Micronesia, as well as other terrestrial and marine biodiversity that it is home to. Biospheric Reserve integrates three functions in harmony with the intrinsic values of the specific territorial area and aspiration of its people. Function of conservation, function of development, a function of scientific knowledge and logistic support. The Biospheric Reserve is a biodiversity hotspot and also a high number of endemic species which are of particular conservational interest. Many species in the reserve are covered by international conventions and regulations. In the sea, there is a rich and diverse marine fauna, largely originated by the sinking of Madeirense ship and the Corveta General Pereira Dessa, originating an artificial reef and a privileged place for diving. Tourism is the central economic activity of Porto Santo, wherefore its performance is fundamental to the sustainability of the territory. The main tourist products are the sun and the sea, the beach. Health and well-being, taking advantage to the therapeutic characteristics of the sands, thalassotherapy, holistic activities, traditional spas. Sports like diving, sailing, boating, surfing, windsurfing, kite surfing, canoeing, coastering, sport fishing, stand-up paddle, nature like walking, cycling, equestrian and boat trips, bird watching, golf, and residential tourism, the footpaths, walking trails, we said veredas. Porto Santo is also rich in traditions. For example, the town's festivities, we have Dia de São João, the Festival Colombo, religious festivals and pilgrimage, traditions in Christmas, like Missas do Parto, Santa Amaro, and visits of the Holy Spirit, the folklore associated with Porto Santo Island, the songs of old that require special attention for their perpetuation. The return to agriculture in Porto Santo has also been gradual, with the cultivation of grapes, watermelon, melon, sweet potato, tomato, carrot, and the introduction of new crops. The land is fertile and the produce of good quality, however, water for irrigation is scarce. Commerce and hotels absorb all the production, with room for growth. The vineyards of tasty grapes such as Caracol and Listrão, flanked by crochet walls. These walls were built by staking stones of different size and functions, providing the optimal conditions of temperature and aeration. Handicraft. Local handicrafts are in latent phase with a decreasing number of active artisans due to their advanced age. However, one of the goals is to involve and teach younger people to practice these craft traditions. The local folklore is represented by the Porto Santo Folklore Group Association. Since 1963, recreating songs. You listen to some songs in the welcome coffee. Porto Santo has a varied and typical gastronomy. We highlight the sweets like capelas, broas de mel, the bolo do caco, the bread, the white bread. The bolo do caco is also much appreciated and is part of the meals of the people of Porto Santo. The escarpiada was many years ago one of the most important meals of the families. Sorry? It's like bread, Greece, like it's good. Today you will taste in the lunch. Okay? Yes, taste the bolo do caco and escarpiada. We have Eco Schools program. It's a citizenship program implemented since 2006, which links the curricular classes and other projects of all schools in the municipality. It contributes to a participatory and enlightened education and promotes aware and active citizens for the environment. It is my beach. It's my school. I am a primary teacher, and we do a lot of activities of environment. Action Plan 2020-2025 to 2025 is a territorial management strategy based on the sustainable development model and focus on specificities of Porto Santo and its people. When the application was submitted, the management of the Biosphere Reserve was to be the responsibility of an association. However, this year, the management of the Biosphere Reserve is under the responsibility of the municipality, which is working on the regulation and the states. Our action plan has 5 strategic priorities: image and identity, social, economic and cultural activities, conservation of nature, social participation, and climate change. The people of Porto Santo have always been resilient and fought for their survival. Natural resources were used in a sustainable way. They are a people proud of their tradition and origins, so resourceful and hardworking. Through sustainable economic development that is based on what is the image and identity of Porto Santo, it will be possible to create more stable and dignified jobs with the commitment of each one and meeting the added value of the Biosphere Reserve, conservation, protection and enhancement of natural heritage. One of the next goals is to register the brand and make the regulation for the use of the brand and logo of the Porto Santo Island Biosphere Reserve. The biggest challenge is to involve local community and all of the partners in a cooperative way, and above all, to make the population aware of the importance and benefits of holding the title Biosphere Reserve and how this can contribute to improving everyone's quality of life in a sustainable and balanced way between nature conservation and human activities. Porto Santo Island Biosphere Reserve belongs to all of us. We are Biosphere Reserve. Porto Santo Island Biosphere Reserve counts on everyone. Thank you for your presence.
Good morning, everybody. Distinguished entities, authorities, national, regional, local, and our friends from Norway, dear colleagues. It is a great pleasure to me to be here. On behalf of the project team, I bring greetings and also an appreciation for allowing us to extend the project to this beautiful island, Porto Santo, with such an energetic and interested and motivated biosphere reserve. I also appreciate very much Licenia, that was recently nominated as biosphere reserve manager, but she feels like she's here since centuries. Well, I have a quick, I have a presentation that I will pass it when possible, and sorry for my delay, but in any case, this is just to give you a brief of the project, main objectives, where we are, what we did already, and what are the new perspectives for the future. Basically, we started the project 2 years ago, so we were almost finishing the project. Now it will be extended, because we will have the signature here of this extension, benefiting from the entry of Porto Santo Island into the project, which is a great add to the project and also for us. I think we have this. So basically the project is called Biosphere Reserve, Sustainable Territories, Resilient Communities. This is the idea that was behind our application, how we, the team, approached the call. We have a wonderful team, dozens of people. It's a consortium led by Quaternaire Portugal, that we have here, Ana Barroco as a representative. We have universities, Nova Lisbon University and Coimbra University. We have the Chamber of Biologists, an NGO, the University of Bergen, the only UNESCO Biosphere Reserve from Norway, the National Commission, UNESCO Commission of Iceland, and two UNESCO chairs from one from Bergen and one from Coimbra University. So these are the entities that made the team, with dozens of people that are not all here. We have here 4 of them, and it is a great pleasure to me to coordinate this diversity of team that is the best team for this subject. We saw here we have 12 biosphere reserves. Porto Santo is the youngest, but not the latest. We hope that soon we'll have more. That is a simple roadmap where we started with Bukilobo 41 years ago. It was one first generation biosphere reserve. It had to change recently because the world evolved, and the biosphere reserves are not just, the UNESCO biosphere reserves are not just a label that we give for a work that has been done on conservation. It's something more. It demands an engagement and more conciliation between nature conservation and socioeconomic development. So fighting against the dichotomy that traditionally brings these two sectors on opposite directions, which is non-clever, at least little smart position nowadays. We started the project not we were not inventing the wheel. The idea is we need to base our approach and our proposal, of course, considering the terms of reference for sure, but we had to start from a point, and we were not inventing. The biosphere reserves were already there. More active, less active, with more capacity, with less capacity, but they were there. So they have an identity, they have environmental quality, they have engagement, more or less, currently, in the past, soon, because it's like human beings. Sometimes we are more happy, more motivated, less motivated, more successful, less successful, but also benefiting from the existing governance.
UNESCO biosphere reserves, they have a management unit. You don't need to do a lot of papers and regulations. Run out of that. It's not mandatory. So just make things working, and then that is the best. But it demands also a scientific and a consultative unit that brings together the local stakeholders and relevant stakeholders from conservation to socioeconomy. So it doesn't mean nothing more than that. So this is the starting point. We were not inventing, but we were bringing value to this. So we developed a vision that is to promote, as the terms of reference recall, a participatory strategy to boost and to enhance the biosphere reserves. Because in fact, the project is the result of a call with more than 10 years from the biosphere reserves that deserve the attention of the government, and later with the support from Norway and the EEA grants to add and to support the hard work and the motivation that each individual biosphere reserve had. So the effort to become a biosphere reserve is huge, but then lack of resources, lack of capacity, and lack of capacity of working together, it was an obstacle that was identified since more than 10 years ago. So luckily the government, the Portuguese government and the Ministry of the Environment recognized that and did an agreement with the biosphere reserves, ensuring the capacity through this project to boost that lack of resources, lack of capacity, and to bring the biosphere reserves more visible for all purposes. So the idea is to understand the assets, natural and cultural, economic heritage, promote the ecosystem services, investing in capacity building, and especially on communication. They are great, they do a great work, but they are not none. So we live in a world that demands and requires that we need to tell that we exist and that we are able to that. And the idea is to do all this by adopting an integrated and collaborative governance model. I will not dig into this, but this is more or less our mental, it's more mental than anything else scheme. The project is based on 3 pillars: knowledge about what is a biosphere reserve, what assets, and the assets here are the natural ecosystems and the ecosystem services, as well as the cultural identity, heritage, and socioeconomic dimension, with a special emphasis into the cultural heritage and the memories of the people that is still there, and also understanding and mapping the socioeconomic system. It's useless to do any proposal and to promote something without knowing exactly what is the reality at the socioeconomic level. Then from there, we build a lot of communication capacitation to complement the knowledge dimension. Some of the outputs is, of course, valorization of these territories and their communities, strengthening the management and development capacities and skills of the managers and the actors that are in the territories, increase the promotion and visibility at national and international level, to promote innovative and integrated capacitation, aiming life quality and prosperity of communities. This is odd when we talk about, it's not typical when we talk about protected areas, but this is what we want to bring. I am a biologist, by the way, so, but I like, I need socioeconomic development to have better conservation. And with better conservation, we can have more sustainable development. That's the point. So the creation and development of the digital platforms, this is a key element into the project. So we are in the 21st century, so let's use technology, let's talk and communicate, whether you are a scientist or a common citizen, a kid or an adult, through digital tools. And this will lead also to a presence and visibility of Portuguese biosphere reserves at international level. Well, recently Portugal was elected as for the MAB ICC, and I believe that this project gave a contribution on that. So it is a recognition from our partners, the European and North America Group 1, that Portugal is doing well with the support of other countries, like Norway in this case. And next month we will have the first meeting of the Portuguese-speaking countries biosphere reserves in Lisbon that are also motivated and inspired by this project. Actions, well, a few, like developing sustainable development plans. We have some pilot actions covering from economy to ecosystem services, a lot of participatory planning methodologies. The MAB National Committee requires an observatory and the sustainable development indicators to show how the biosphere reserves are contributing to the sustainable development of the territories where they are. Of course, a strategic communication and marketing plan for the biosphere reserves. Marketing is very important, and communication, awareness plan and activities, guides, roadmaps, manuals. We had the Olympiads, and this is not legible on purpose. These are the 81 activities that projects are conducting. But you can see that for some of them, they are from 1 to 81. They are from 1 to 81, so you can see that some of them are done. So the project finished already some of the activities, especially those that are more related with collection of information, the marketing plan, etc. And they are available to everybody, of course. So participation is a key issue, so the project is really working with the population, with the managers, of course, but most of the times we go straight to the population and the actors, because they are keen, they are open, and suddenly we are receiving a lot of calls and requests from the actors. So all over, we did already something in Porto Santo, but under a clandestine mission. But now, of course, you will have us more time. Some of the quick shots of some things that we are doing. This is from capacitation actions. In this case, using digital tools for productivity and management. This was done by the Institute of Pedro Nunes, and most of them are online, so they are accessible and they can be used again, but also they have live sections. These are some of the products, the covers of some of the specific and technical reports. In this case, we have 3 here, one of them dealing with the mapping of the ecosystems. I think that there's no other example of knowing exactly which ecosystems exist and mapping the specific ecosystems in these areas. It's done. And from here, we are mapping the key ecosystem services. And from that, we will give a value, an economic value. It's not us, we will do it from the technical point of view, but it's based on what the people in the communities consider that is more relevant for them on the socioeconomic side. So this is already an output that is being adopted in Norway, and some African biosphere reserves are calling from our example, and maybe Japan is also asking a meeting about this specific project with some interesting outputs already. Tourism roadmaps, so there will be a lot of it. The idea is not to make a guide for saying to the tourists, sleep here, eat there. That is not interesting for us. It's more shape your visit, shape your experience, build up and develop, and each individual should construct their visit based on the information that will be available using technology and capacity. More reports, as you saw, we have 3 colors. We have here the reddish, that is for one pillar, the knowledge. Then we have for communication in gray, and we did already the communication plan, the marketing strategy, and also we developed the label. It was one of the requests from the terms of the reference to create the label, the marca, Reservas da Biosfera de Portugal. So this is, of course, it derived from the image of the project, and it will be a brand to be used on promotion together. So the challenge here was to build a brand that should not kill the individuality of each biosphere reserve. It's a very challenging process, but it's already there with the strategy, with the manual, how to use, for different actors and sectors. The other color is for capacitation, so awareness and development. These are some of the reports that are available. We are preparing a very interesting activity that is also, I hope it will be one of the keystones of the project, that is the Festival of Biosphere Reserves, with 3 editions, one in the Madeira Autonomous Region, one in the Azores, and one in mainland Portugal. So this is the proposal that came out from the conception of this. So as you see, the festival will cover arts, culture, and biosphere, laboratories, knowledge, biofest, memories, and artistic residency. It's not only about nature, but bringing together nature and human activities and the creativity and the heritage of each biosphere reserve. One of to me personally, this was one of the best actions that we had, the Olympics of Biosphere Reserves. It was just one edition, but it moved all schools in the country. So we're at different stages, and we were able to bring to the final after a few stages at school level, then at national level, then the final. At Outubro in April, we had a final with 8 schools, 30 students from group 1, so 8th grade, and from the secondary, 9 schools and 26 students. These were the finalists, and they were challenged to produce a video during that weekend, and the other ones to support debates based on a poster. And this was amazing. By the way, it was Santa Ana, the neighbor biosphere reserve, who won the secondary competition, and we hope that this could continue next year, promoted by the biosphere reserves. Well, outreach, of course, the project, although we don't pay much attention to this, we have a communication strategy, of course, and the project is being very welcomed in the media with several participations and requests from the media, TV, journals, and we have our channels also, but it's very grateful to see that society and the media are also paying attention and calling for the project to express and to give some contributions. So this is where we are. Porto Santo will take this train already that departed some time ago, but we are in touch, and since some months ago, since ever, and I am sure that with this energy that we saw here and with the compromise from the regional authorities and municipal authorities, I am sure that there will be no big issues having Porto Santo on the way. Thank you very much. This was,
Ambassador of Norway to Portugal, Ruby Busberg.
Bom dia a todos. Eu vou dizer algumas palavras em português para agradecer ao Sr. Presidente da Câmara pela recepção e as palavras simpáticas. E também é um grande prazer estar cá junto com o Secretário de Estado e toda a delegação, e primeira vez, mas sem dúvida não a última. Yeah, thank you all. It's an honor, a pleasure to be here and to be attending this ceremony today to sign the addendum, even though I wasn't allowed to sign. But and to listen to the very, very good presentations that you have been giving us today on the 2 projects. I think it underlines the dedication of Portugal to the sustainable marine management by, for instance, then reducing the marine litter and also to the preservation, of course, of nature and the action plan that goes with it, with the biosphere, on how to use the biosphere, being it on land or being it in the sea. And this is, of course, very, very important. I have the honor, together with the council, to visit the biosphere of Santana earlier this year, and I'm very impressed with the dedication that you put into these projects that you have here, and then both of them. We are here then in connection with the annual meeting of the EEA grants, and my dear colleague and friend, Susanna Ramos, gave, as always, a very good presentation of the EEA grants. It is important, the work we are doing together under the EEA grants. And I'd like to highlight the bilateral relations that comes with it. With Portugal, between Portugal and Liechtenstein, Iceland and Norway. In this case, with the biosphere, University of Bergen and Nordhordland Utviklingsselskap. Actually, that's my area, so just mentioning it. But I'd like to mention specifically to the State Secretary that I know he has lots of things on his desk, and not least with the PRR. But I hope that whenever you mention PRR and also the head of cabinet, you add that, but with the EEA grants come bilateral relations and bilateral cooperation. I think it's really wonderful to have all these relations being built, and to have that exchange of knowledge and the development of knowledge and innovation that comes with this broad cooperation that we are so lucky to have. So, I'd like to finish by having, not a quote, but Susanna Ramos made a reference to it takes a village to raise a child. I read an article the other day about a very successful soccer trainer, Norwegian soccer trainer, that is very unpopular in Norway, but makes huge success in Sweden. And he was asked why. And he said something like that: it's about the strength of the collective and the responsibility of the individual. We need to pull in the same direction. And I think it fits very well for this thing as well. Thank you.
We call the Regional Secretary for the Environment, Natural Resources and Climate Change, Susana Prada.
Cumprimento o Sr. Presidente da Câmara. É sempre um enorme gosto voltar a esta belíssima ilha. Cumprimento o Sr. Secretário de Estado do Planeamento. Cumprimento a Sra. Embaixadora da Noruega em Portugal. A Sra. Coordenadora dos EEA Grants em Portugal. E a Sra. Secretária-Geral do Ambiente. Minhas senhoras e meus senhores, as minhas primeiras palavras são de agradecimento pelo facto de este ano os EEA Grants terem escolhido a região autónoma da Madeira para a realização da sua reunião anual. Gostaria de agradecer também a oportunidade que foi dada ao Porto Santo de integrar o projeto Reservas da Biosfera, Territórios Sustentáveis, Unidades Resilientes, e assim, juntamente com Santana, usufruir do investimento que o projeto dedica às 12 reservas da Biosfera de Portugal, 2 das quais na região autónoma da Madeira. E por isso, agradecer a todos os que se empenharam para que o dia de hoje fosse uma realidade. Muito obrigada. As nossas ilhas devem a sua maior vulnerabilidade a variáveis como a distância do continente, a exiguidade do território e a dificuldade acrescida de economias de escala que colocam alguns domínios na ordem do incomparável com outros territórios. Contudo, os maiores desafios também sempre foram, para nós, ilhéus, motivo de engenho e de empreendedorismo. Apostamos no conhecimento e na formação, na ciência e na inovação, na tecnologia e nos melhores recursos, na cultura e nas tradições, de forma a garantir o crescimento e o desenvolvimento sustentável de toda a região. O recurso água, por exemplo. Garanti-lo é muito mais do que um exercício difícil. A construção das levadas da Madeira, que se iniciou no século XVI, foi um desafio hercúleo de centenas de anos para garantir água no sul da ilha, onde é escassa, vinda do norte, onde é mais abundante. Sinónimo de resiliência e de adaptação e do uso sustentável do recurso, integram hoje uma candidatura a Património Mundial da Humanidade da Unesco. Governar uma região que depende da excepcionalidade dos seus recursos naturais como destino turístico exige uma estratégia política ambiental muito bem definida. Temos a melhor praia da Europa, a magnífica praia de Porto Santo. A população nesta ilha chega a quintuplicar durante o mês de agosto, pelo que a natural menor disponibilidade hídrica sempre foi motivo de investimentos de vanguarda técnica e científica. Há 42 anos que o Porto Santo possui a única desalinizadora pública do país, que representa a única fonte de água potável de qualidade. E há 17 anos que as águas residuais aqui produzidas são 100% reaproveitadas para regadio, num claro exemplo de economia circular. No âmbito da Estratégia Regional de Combate às Alterações Climáticas, decorre aqui no Porto Santo um projeto LIFE, o projeto Dunas, que visa o aumento da resiliência do cordão dunar da praia e todo o seu ecossistema para a proteção da população. Trata-se de um trabalho exigente e complexo, de intervenção multidisciplinar, que vai desde a dinâmica costeira, à geologia, o estudo dos solos e botânica, às tradições e à agricultura. Neste e noutros projetos ambientais, juntamente com a administração regional, participam hotéis, escolas, empresas, agricultores e população em geral, no maior respeito pelo património que protegem, no maior conhecimento das suas tradições e na maior responsabilidade de um desígnio de pais para filhos. E todos os dias trabalhamos para fazer mais e melhor. Nos últimos 7 anos, a região aumentou o número de águas balneares de excelente qualidade de 24 para 47 e o número de bandeiras azuis de 11 para 28. Temos o melhor índice de qualidade ambiental de todas as regiões de Portugal. Sob proteção, temos 65% da área terrestre e 89% do mar territorial da região autónoma da Madeira. Sendo que a mais recente foi a ampliação da área e do nível de proteção das ilhas selvagens, passou a ser a maior reserva marinha de proteção integral de todo o Atlântico Norte. Serão certamente muitos desafios para recursos limitados, pelo que serão sempre muito bem-vindas novas oportunidades de financiamento de projetos. Faço votos de que desfrutem da vossa estadia na ilha de Porto Santo e que tenham a oportunidade de nadar e caminhar na melhor praia da Europa. Muito obrigada e voltem sempre.
We now call the Secretary of State for Planning, Eduardo Pinheiro.
Muito bom dia a todos. Good morning, everyone. I had the opportunity to greet most of you yesterday in our meeting. I think I especially those of the donor states that are here, and I have certain that you are very happy to be here in Porto Santo, in the Golden Highland, as has been said, and I think I'm going to adopt the good practice of the previous speakers, and I'm going to give some words in Portuguese, especially to greet our mayor and the secretary regional, and then I'm going to do a brief speech in English, especially about immigrants. Portanto, agora no português, também pela questão cultural, é com muito gosto que estou aqui em Porto Santo, repetindo um bocadinho o que foi dito tanto pela senhora embaixadora como a Alexandra Carvalho. Apesar de ter estado já várias vezes na Madeira, é a minha primeira vez no Porto Santo e subscrevo o que já foi dito, certamente será para voltar e voltar em família, porque as poucas horas já deram para perceber que vale mesmo a pena e não há nada como presenciar. Portanto, agradecer ao Sr. Presidente por nos receber desta forma, diria, calorosa, entusiasmada, também com todo o processo de colaboração que possamos ter, e naturalmente à Sra. Secretária Regional pela presença, também por nos receber aqui e nesta relação institucional tão importante entre o Governo da República e o Governo Regional, que só dessa forma é que poderemos trabalhar. E obviamente uma palavra também para a senhora embaixadora que nos tem acompanhado e que acompanha sempre de forma muito próxima no que diz respeito aos imigrantes e, portanto, também dar aqui uma palavra pública reconhecendo essa participação. Depois, agradecer os projetos que aqui foram apresentados, para além de motivadores, são, obviamente, uma demonstração da prática e também, diria que é uma prova clara. Já ontem tivemos um conjunto de testemunhos na reunião que realizámos de projetos na Madeira. Hoje teremos ainda a oportunidade, para além do que aqui foi descrito, de fazer visita ao longo do dia, mas são também, diria, motivadores para nós continuarmos e para podermos também, para os Estados que nos acompanham, a Noruega, Liechtenstein e a Islândia, compreender a importância destes projetos, da vontade que temos, da capacidade técnica, da capacidade também da nossa academia para os pôr em prática, para os pensar e para os pôr em prática. E, portanto, parece-me que é, de facto, vamos daqui, para além da paisagem, para além da temperatura, nesta altura do ano, vamos claramente reforçados. Depois, já irei aos EEA Grants, falámos aqui, de facto, que há um conjunto alargado de financiamentos, que é preciso considerar pela sua complementariedade também, seja pelas áreas, seja pelo território, seja pelos seus destinatários, e, portanto, queremos muito poder ter na região autónoma vários selos, seja com o PRR, o Plano de Recuperação e Resiliência, os EEA Grants, como disse muito bem a senhora embaixadora, naturalmente com o programa regional, e neste momento estamos numa fase avançada para a sua aprovação até ao final deste ano. Esperamos para depois podermos avançar com todo o Portugal 2030 em força e garantir uma continuidade com o Portugal 2020, que neste momento ainda está em execução e, portanto, ainda temos muito trabalho pela frente e não podemos retirar qualquer empenho relativamente a isso. Mas dizer ao Sr. Presidente, compreendendo as suas preocupações e, portanto, acompanho-as para os autarcas. Eu também, como ex-autarca, sinto estas coisas de forma, se calhar, também mais intensa, mas compreendo-as e no que diz respeito ao PRR, para além, não é só para o Porto Santo, mas aqui faço o desafio a toda, e já tive a oportunidade de fazer ao seu colega responsável pelas finanças, em que foi demonstrada claramente a vontade das partes de poderem também aceder a um conjunto de financiamentos, nomeadamente o PRR, que não estando na parte direta da região, mas podem ir aos avisos, aos concursos gerais e, portanto, é preciso manter também esta proximidade para que os próprios avisos estejam também adequados à realidade da Madeira e que, de forma intensa, muitas vezes até de forma não intencional, poder haver alguma discriminação não positiva e, portanto, queremos evitá-lo e, portanto, importa termos esta ligação muito próxima. E, portanto, daqui demonstrar, em bom português, a vontade do Governo de manter esta colaboração e esta colaboração e este trabalho muito próximo seja nos diferentes instrumentos financeiros que temos ao dispor e continuaremos a ter certamente para o futuro. Portanto, agora passarei para o meu pequeno discurso, agora mais dirigido especificamente aos e-grants e também ao trabalho que nos trouxe aqui no âmbito deste encontro, desta reunião anual. And so, first of all, I would like to highlight the importance of relevance of EA grants, as we said all these days. It has been several times during these days. Since the agreement of 1994, Portugal has benefited from 5 financial mechanisms. As a result, the grants have been contributing to support priority sectors in Portugal, such as blue growth, environment, along the funding of many projects in key areas like renewable energies, climate changes, circular economy, decarbonization of the society, and sustainability. Today we heard very good examples, as I said in Portuguese, of the same, and the same as happened yesterday in Funchal. I would also like to underline the importance of the bilateral and long-term relationships between the promoters, operators, and partners from our countries involved in the projects in all these years. The involvement of all these entities has been key for the implementation of the programs and projects, fostering sharing, knowledge, and new synergies between blue growth and environment areas. It should also be noted the very promising bilateral agenda in the energy sector. It's so important nowadays. And the water management, also so important, opening several possibilities for collaboration that can be explored in the near future. Over the years, EE grants have been financing projects with lasting results, which have had an unquestionable positive impact in people's lives. It is not possible to mention all the projects, but I would like to emphasize globally the contribution of EE grants for such subjects as environmental literacy, awareness campaigns and studies, waste and water management, adaptation measures to climate change, including fire prevention, ecological citizenship, that is very important too, and of course, sustainable mobility. As a former Secretary for Mobility, is very important for me. Today's activities and events are an excellent example of the work that has been done by all the parties involved in the grants, contributing to the success and results achieved in this program. It is another step in already long path of cooperation between Portugal, Norway, Iceland, and Liechtenstein that extends beyond the scope of the European Economic Area. And I just must express my wish that we work together to deepen this relation in the near future. It's really important to work together, we all know that. I'm sure our countries, our populations, our companies will really be benefit with our partnership. And so, thank you, muito obrigado a todos e continuaremos ao longo do dia ainda a partilhar. Muito obrigado.
Thank you.